If you've decided to move toward private pay and you're not sure what to do this week, the Quick Start Toolkit is built for exactly that moment. It walks you through week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. Niche statement, referral outreach, your 30-second intro, and a 30-day action plan. Read it in an hour, come back to it when you're stuck. $57 at privatepaypractitioners.com.
Hey there, it is DJ, and I am back with Private Pay Practitioners Premium Podcast. And I have, what do you guess, another fabulous person coming in talking to us, Jacqui Nelson, all the way in Washington, where I used to live. And so, Jacqui, welcome.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, you're so welcome. Jacqui is a licensed mental health counselor over in Spokane, Washington, correct?
Yeah, yeah, eastern
Okay.
side of the state.
Fabulous. And she does like some long-term depth work. And she is the founder, and I hope I'm saying this right, liminal psychotherapy.
Yeah,
Okay. Yes, yes. And you specialize in religious trauma, faith deconstruction, identity reconstruction, childhood trauma, like so many wonderful things and hard
yeah,
things.
it is hard. I love it.
I know you do, and that's why I'm like you're here so we can talk about it because I love sitting with people who love the work that they do. So Jacqui, please tell us even more about you.
Well, yeah, so I do a lot of the hard trauma work. Like I'm a trauma therapist just in the core of who I am. I got trained really well to do that work. And you start finding your way as a new clinician where you're like, oh, I like this work. And
Yeah.
really, like I started kind of understanding trauma and realizing that like out of my own story, I also have this little niche of religious trauma. And
Yeah.
that came from a pretty hard and difficult, deconstruction process. I got kicked out of my church when I was
Oh
28.
wow.
Yeah, and it led to just this profound sense of confusion and loss of community, loss of my identity. And so really as I've kind of started like working as I worked through that, I realized I could actually speak to this. Like I could actually do this work with other people.
Yeah.
So that's the work I do. And I'm really just trying to establish myself here in Spokane as like a religious trauma therapist, identity work, because that's so much a part of any kind of traumatic experiences, kind of the loss of sense of self.
Oh, absolutely. I don't any trauma, can bring this upon. Um wow, Jacqui, I'm so shocked to hear you say you got kicked out of your church.
It's a thing.
I it Who would have I didn't know that you get kicked out of the church. That's, for me, that makes no sense. Um,
Right. It didn't make
yeah,
sense to me either, and I think when we have like an experience like that, like all the cards are on the table to say like,
right.
okay, how did we get here? And what would cause a pastor to say you're no longer welcome when you've been devoted to the church for as long as you have been? And I had to really make sense of all of that sense of like that they said they were my family, and then how do you not become family anymore? And so I'm like, well, what other beliefs have I bought into that maybe aren't true or accurate or even something I want to hang on to? So I had to do a lot of work.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it. And then now you have lived experience that you can share with, how appropriately, right?
Yeah.
With clients or with community or in your writings or teachings and things of that nature that help you know, help the client know that you get it.
Yeah, I think it's helpful because sometimes you see a therapist and you want to know that they just fundamentally know like what you're talking about when they're trying to explain their experience. And I've met so many therapists who maybe haven't had that experience, and then they're trying to make sense of like what is purity culture? What is, like what is deconstruction? And you have to do so much explaining. So I really like clients to know that like I come from an informed experience, and you don't have to try to explain to me all the ins and outs of the weird theological things that are all meshed in with all of that. Like, I get it. I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Wow. And what's the response from the clients when maybe they hear that part?
Think relief, mostly, like, relief of, like, "Oh, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy that
Yes.
this experience was really difficult or confusing," or, like, a lot of folks walk away from an experience like that of, like, "I'm bad. Like, I did something horrible that I got, you know, left out of this community, or I wasn't welcome, or whatever it is that happened."
Yeah. Yeah. I knew I wasn't welcome in my church when I was like 6.
Wow. What a
Yeah.
terrible experience for a kid to have.
Exactly. As a young gay black boy in the South, uh, I knew what the hell they were talking about, and I knew what was going on for me, and I was like, "Well, I don't belong."
Which it Yeah, that sense of, like, fundamentally not belonging, like, that does something to us, whether it's in our own families or in a church or wherever we wanna have belonging, like, when you just don't feel like that's there for you, like, that just shapes
Yeah.
your whole trajectory of how you, like, see yourself and in the world.
It's true. It's true. I had to like go through all kinds of stuff to get out of that kind of mindset that I don't belong and I'm not important, I'm not loved, blah blah blah, right?
Mhm.
But it's heavy stuff to
Yes.
navigate.
It is, it's really heavy, and I'm so grateful, like, my grad program required us to go through therapy while we were in the
Yay.
program, and I'm so grateful for that because that's really where I began to kind of examine all those narratives, then to deconstruct them, and then to shed them, and to ultimately, like, find myself again, and so that's really the heart of what I hope to help clients do is find themselves again because they are still there, like, authentic all of those authentic parts of them are still there, and it's like, we just gotta find them. They're there.
I love this. And you're a supervisor, is that correct?
I am. I do, clinical supervision with associates who are trying to get licensed, and it is so fun to
Oh,
do that work.
good. Yeah, I was a supervisor too when I was in Washington, and it
Okay.
is really fun. Are you working with your supervisees who are doing similar work or who want to do similar work?
I try to keep within my scope around, like, "Hey, I see adults only, I don't see teens, I don't see children, and I don't see couples." So, I I really try to keep it in that wheelhouse because, A, I don't wanna step out and be like, "I don't know how to help kids," like, that's just not my jam. But mostly I really wanna work with clinicians who wanna be in private practice and help them develop their clinical mind as they're in a private practice because I just believe that, like, whether you're an associate or you've been in this work a long time, like, you should get paid for the work you do, and that's not
Yeah.
gonna happen in a group, it's not gonna happen in an agency, and then inevitably you will burn out.
Yes, 1,000% correct. That is absolutely true. That's the same kind of lens that I took, and take, of course, as you know. But it was so interesting when I was a supervisor. Um, I encourage my supervisees to charge what they need. Right? It kind of started there, and
Yeah,
they were charging what I was charging.
it's it is a little humbling when you're like, "Oh, you're charging the same amount." But you know what? Honestly, like, they're doing the work. They may not have all of the experience yet, but they're still doing the work and carrying the load of the
Yeah.
emotional, like, stuff that their clients are handing them. So, like, why shouldn't they get paid for that?
Yes, you're right. Insurance companies are never gonna pay therapists what they need. It's
No,
never going to happen. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care what lie somebody's trying to sell me. I ain't buying it. It ain't happening.
it's not.
Right?
It's not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen. So we really just have to keep educating people about these systems, and we gotta stop relying on these damn systems. We gotta create new structures,
I agree.
new systems, new ways of being, and not be relying on these insurance companies because all they want to do is buy up these practices now.
Yeah, it's kind of concerning, really. Like, I've been kind of following, like, what you've been talking about, some of the people that you've brought on your show. I've been following some other podcasts and other clinicians, and it is really concerning, like, what's happening in our industry because, like, this work was meant to be sacred work, and it's turning into this, like, aggressive business where people are just trying to there's all this scarcity around these are my clients and this is the work I do. And it's becoming territorial, but also
Yeah.
predatory.
Ooh. You didn't say it. You didn't say it loud enough. The people don't want to hear that word.
No, they
They
don't.
don't.
They don't
They
want to
don't
hear
want to
that.
hear it. Yes, we have some predatory practices out there.
And the insurance companies are predatory. They're predatory towards the
Yes.
clinician and they're predatory towards the client. And it's
Yes.
been wild as I've transitioned out of insurance into the private pay world, which is new for me in the last, I would say, oh gosh, not even full year, in the last 6 months.
Yes. Tell us about it. What was that breaking point, and then what has it been like during the process?
So the story is kind of interesting because it's just kind of weird. So I'll just start from the beginning. About a year ago, I went to a friend's retreat over in Seattle, and she invited all of these professional women, and I'm listening to them talk about the work they do and what they charge for it. And I'm like, I'm not getting paid for that, and I have a master's degree, and I've been a clinician for 9 years. And I'm just listening, and they're doing good work. Like one of them was she's a mindfulness coach, and she's just basically applying CBT to her coaching practice, but she's making thousands of dollars doing what she's doing. And I started listening to this and I realized I had some money problems in my own mindset. I was on panels, I thought it was good enough, but and money just kind of progressively rolls from the insurance company, but you're never getting paid on time, never getting paid really what you're worth. So I'm listening to this and during a session, the host was like, I want you to draw a tarot card. I want you to set your intention, draw the tarot card. So I set my intention. I was like, I really want to start living from a place of abundance. I pull a tarot card and I shit you not. Am I allowed to say shit?
Of course.
I shit you not. The card said abundance.
No, I love
Yes.
it.
And I went, and everybody's like, what? And I explained. And they were like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So from there, I start listening to the podcast, The Telepathy Tapes. Have you listened to that?
Mm, no.
So it's this amazing documentary, kind of like a docuseries via podcast about nonverbal autistic kids who can read minds. But from there, she starts going into consciousness and what is consciousness and how do we access, this kind of stream of creativity. And I start listening to this and I'm like, okay, like I'm leery of getting on board with anything because of my religious trauma journey. And I've not been open for a very, very long time. Just nothing. I
Mm,
was like, I believe in energy and I believe energy doesn't die. So I'm listening to this and I start just feeling this nudge of leave insurance. And so I'm listening to your podcast. I'm paying attention to what other people are saying. And I just start feeling that urge of I want to get paid for the work I do. I'm never going to make more than this. And so I just followed it. And in September, I sent out my email to all my clients saying, here's what I'm doing. Here's why I'm doing it. I know
yeah.
this is going to bring an impact to you, but I have to do what I believe is best in my gut. And I just hope that you trust that we can make it through. Here's how out of network billing works if you want to do that. Happy to provide a super bill. And I lost about half my caseload at that point.
Yeah.
Um, and I got them referrals. We talked about why. For many of them, it was really financial. Um,
Yeah.
one of them
No.
was just I just want to use my insurance and only pay a copay, so I'm out. I was like, great. So I get
See ya.
to December, and most everybody transitions out, and I have about 9 weekly clients, and I'm like, oh my god! And somehow, I'm just trusting that the universe, whoever is going to take care of me, and I really didn't lose any money. I got 3 new referrals in January. February was kind of quiet, but progressively I've started getting more and more referrals and people are willing to pay my fee. And it's
Yeah.
been shocking, to say
Yeah.
the least, when you're used to people being like, no, I just want to use my insurance
Yeah. You can use your insurance as somewhere else.
somewhere else. And again, I try to educate clients and even other practitioners about this, that out of network benefits are insurance benefits and the
Yeah.
client has the right to use them.
if they have them.
if they have
N
them.
Not everybody has them, which is a
No,
scam.
it is a scam. It's a total scam.
Like,
Like,
why would you not offer that? It is such a scam.
and even if they have them, sometimes insurance is like, "Yeah, no, we don't pay for that." And I'm like, "But it shows me right here on Availity that you will."
Right. Yes. The whole thing is a scam.
Yeah,
All of it.
it's a it is.
Yeah.
So a lot of the story really is about kind of leaning into my own intuition and
Yes.
trusting myself, which was really hard to do because I have my own money story. I have my own like fears about that. And I am just I think the truth of the matter is that like you can actually have abundance if you just trust yourself.
Right. It's very true. Just like for me, I trust myself and my higher power. Um, and as someone who grew up and got kicked, that walked out of the church because I was like, oh well, I'm not going to be accepted here, right? I had a difficult time accepting spirituality when I got into a 12-step recovery, and I was like, what is this noise?
Sure. Yeah, I can imagine.
But then what they told me was, you get to believe whatever you want to believe, and it's nobody else is gonna buy. It doesn't belong to anyone else but you.
That's so true.
And I was like, I'm in. That was it. No one else controls what is happening in my spiritual self being world,
No.
right? And that's where for me, that's how I got into my money recovery. That's how I trusted them when they said, you're going to walk yourself out of your practice because the
Mm,
insurance companies are
mhm.
going to like shut you down and you're going to lose all your money. And I was like, well, that shit's actually happening. So I might as well just take a leap.
Right. Like and it does feel so risky because you're like, I'm trusting that somebody's gonna hear my fee and say you're worth it. But the truth is, like, if we don't believe we're worth it, they're not gonna believe it. Like,
Absolutely.
they're gonna pick all that up from us, whether or not we want them to. And
Right.
we really do have to believe that, like, my fee is what it is because I'm highly skilled and I'm good at what I do.
Yes, yes. And you know when I left insurance, and you got me thinking about this. When I left insurance, I think my fee, my cash fee, I think it was like 125.
So low. So low.
Ah,
Like, what?
and and then just gradually, and people were like, "Oh, I can't pay it." Right? Okay.
Mhm.
So that's what I tell people. Whatever the fee, there are going to be some people who can't pay it. I don't care if it's $80 or $800. Some people can't pay it,
Right.
right? So I would have to go back and look at my record because I know it was low, and still people are like, "Can't do it." It's 255 now,
Which is amazing.
and that's clinical. That ain't coaching.
Right?
That's
That's amazing.
clinical. Yes, and it does feel like a abundance, but you know what? And I'm always honest about this kind of stuff. The scarcity stuff still pops up.
Sure. I bet it
It
does.
still pops up, and it's just like and I say to myself, "Go sit down."
You have to, like, you have to really walk yourself through it because, like, there have been some moments in the last 6 months where I get really anxious about, like, "Oh my god, what if I lose a client?" And then I'm out,
Yes.
however much money.
Oh, yes. I mean, at one point, well, even just recently, each client was $1,000 a month.
Right. That hit
Each
hurt.
client. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh.
It really
Where
hurts.
else like, where else are we, like, talking to people when they're saying, "If I lose one client, that's $1,000 a month gone." I don't know, you know?
Exactly. It is kind of an interesting world, but, like, what's crazy is that people will pay for all sorts of things, and they'll tell you about it in therapy, about the things that, like they'll tell you, like, your fee is too much, but then they'll tell you about, like, the $500, like, thing that they just went and bought that weekend.
It's true.
And I'm
It
like,
is so true.
so I think a lot of, like, what I do to soothe that anxiety is just to remember that, like, the universe wants good things for me, and I just need to trust that.
Yeah. Yeah. Before we started, I was telling you that one of the reasons I came here in Georgia because we had like a family crisis, and
Mhm.
it was a significant crisis. And I've talked about it on the show before about losing my kid, my daughter. Um, and my higher power cleared that damn schedule, and I was like, I gotta work, and nope, you gotta grieve.
Ugh.
And let me tell you, Jackie, not one bill was late.
Isn't that amazing?
Not one bill was late.
That's so amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Because no matter how hard I tried to push to make sure I was like, oh, I still got to work. I still got to work. No, you got to grieve.
Which is so important because, like, if you don't, like, that stuff's gonna, like, impact everything you're doing. And
Oh,
our
yeah.
bodies will just tell us, like, it'll start screaming. Like, "It's time. I'm not going to let you get away with this." And I'm so
Yeah.
glad that, like, you took the time to do that for yourself and to do that for your clients.
Yeah, for sure. And I had a really messed up couple years. Like before I lost my kid, I had surgery and got pneumonia and was in ICU
Whoa,
for a week.
that's a long time.
Clients were still there when I came back. Thankfully, I survived, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I almost died, like, serious, but my husband was at home with the kids, and bills were paid. There was monies in accounts, had insurance just in case, the worst did happen, but there was abundance all around.
Mhm.
And I still think about, like, it's because I put myself first. All
Right,
those years ago when I was at a crossroads when it was like, you need to either close your practice and go and find something else to damn do, or leave these insurance companies and ask for what you need.
right, right. Like, I think that happens that the universe, whoever's out there,
Yeah.
kinda leads us to that fork in the road because and that nudge is so important to listen to it, 'cause and we feel it, like, it for me wasn't really like a voice or anything, it was just more like a nudge inside my soul of, like, "You deserve to get paid more," and I was thinking about my therapist back in 2014 when I started seeing her, she was making 150 an hour.
Mm.
Well, fast forward to, when I started my private practice in 2022, I started charging 160, and I was like, "Wait a second, like, that doesn't make sense."
Right.
It doesn't like, the math doesn't math, like, when you think about inflation, like,
Yeah.
our therapy world is really stuck. Like, we are
Oh,
really stuck in thinking that, like, this is the bar, when
right.
it's like, well, gas here is $5 a gallon right now, I don't know what it's like down there, but
334, and I'm like, that's high.
that's high. But that's high, like, $5 a gallon is high, but, like, in Seattle right now, it's like $7 a gallon.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's like things like that, food costs have gone up, but, like, our
Yeah.
income didn't go up, and
The income don't go up. You gotta make it.
exactly, and so I think listening to the nudge, like, is so important. So, that's just what I'm doing now, and honestly, so many of your, materials that you've done, like, I got that niche report when you first put it out, and so,
Yes.
I got that, and like, what you, assessed for my area and for my years of experience and what I'm doing, I bumped my rate up to that because I was like, that was really validating to see that. I was like, "Oh, well,
Yeah.
okay."
You just gotta do the research, right?
Right.
Yeah, you just gotta do the research and put in the numbers. You know,
You did.
it's numbers, people, right? You just gotta figure out the numbers. And we got people walking around here scared to look at the numbers. They're scared to make a decision. They're scared to deep dive into the money story. Listen,
Right.
I know my money story back and forth. It took me a while to figure it out, though.
It does. It takes some time because it's just so deeply ingrained, like, from where you grew up, the parents you had, how their money story, um, just all of it, like, what society tells us, what education tells us, what the therapy community tells us. Like, I can't
Yeah.
tell you how many clinicians told me, like, "Oh, you can't do private pay in Spokane. People here use their insurance." And I believed that for a really long time. And then I started talking to other private pay clinicians, and they're like, I've been doing this for years and I get paid my rate. And I started just kind of like, wait a second, where does this myth come from that people won't pay cash?
They make it up.
They do.
They make it up. And that's when I hear that stuff, I be wanting to say, shut up.
I tell people like I'm not going to receive that, honestly. I'm like, I don't think that's true at all. I think we get stuck in these narratives that get handed down to us, and then we just think it's the truth when maybe it's not.
Right. Because you're like, oh, you can't do that. Well, I'm doing it,
I am
and then maybe, right. And then what happens is someone sees you do it and then they're like, I can do that. You got to
right.
change the narrative.
Yeah, so much of it is a narrative, and so that's what I'm working at doing. And honestly, what cash pay has given me is this flexibility to start thinking about some other things I want to do too. So I've been doing a
Ooh,
lot of groups, and I love group work. I love it.
yes.
It's just
Yes.
so fun, and I was really inspired by your last podcast episode with, I'm so sorry, I don't remember her name. She does a lot of the groups, like, she's the IFS witch.
Oh, yes. I love her. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It, I was going to say IFS with Melissa
So, yeah,
Gutman.
I was so inspired by all of the group work she's doing, and you do a lot of group work, and so I was like,
I do.
What if I could kind of curate more things in my practice to be aimed at group work while I still do my, my clinical work with my one-on-one, but what if there's more room for me to do workshops and retreats and groups and public speaking? So I'm investing in that right now, in the public speaking world. And I took a 6-week public speaking workshop called 6 Weeks to the Stage. And it was so transformative for me and
Oh,
fun
wow.
and just so fun. And I got to do a 10-minute speech that was video recorded. Um, I had to do it without my notes, and you just present and hope that you remember it all.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that post. Oh my God. Who did you do that course with?
Her name's Morgan Marum, and she calls herself the storytelling coach, and she's here in Spokane. And the
Oh,
work she does is all around story work, and it's really profoundly helpful. And so I invested in it. I got another nudge within me, and it was like, invest in this program. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know how I'm going to pay for that. Like, it was pricey, but it was really worth it. And the money's
you
just in there.
Uh, yeah, you save up for it, or you look to your savings, your reserves. That's
Exactly.
one of the things that we did that master class recently around money, and in that master class, I talked about how like sometimes when it's time to make a purchase or a bill comes due or whatever, and I'm just like, oh, I don't have the money, and then it's like you look over at the account, and it's like, oh, it's sitting over there. You've been
Yeah,
saving for it,
exactly. So
you know.
that's what I've been doing, and it's been great. And I just like pitched myself for my first public speaking event, and
Yes.
then they said, "What's your price?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. Like, I was just going to do this just to get some experience, but
No.
okay." And so, yeah, I pitched a price, and we'll see what they say.
What was the price?
I said 2,500.
Love it. Yes. 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 I I did 45 minutes,
Okay.
$3,000.
Yeah, I think that's very reasonable. So I put it out there. I was like, if that doesn't work with your budget, let me know. And maybe there are some non-monetary things that we could consider if you don't have the budget for that.
I don't even know if I would say that.
Well, we'll see what they say.
Because listen, if it won't work with their budget, they'll tell you. You don't have to give them an out.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. So we'll see what they say.
Oh, I'm so excited. You'll have to send me a note and let me know how it goes. This
Well,
is nice. I love this for you. All the group work and then maybe doing some speaking. Like you're doing it,
I'm
right?
doing it, and I'm doing the things I want to be doing. Like, I'm going to host my first retreat this September, and I got 9 people to sign up for it, and I was like, "Oh,
For a
people want me
whole retreat?
for a retreat, for a 2-night retreat."
Jackie, tell us about this retreat because I'm curious.
I'm so excited about it. I'm, like, a little giddy about it. So it's called the Slumber Party Retreat, and it's for women who have forgotten the art of play. And I just really want to invite them to come and like be silly and spontaneous and fun. And we're going to just kind of go back to those nostalgic parts of ourselves and just remember that person and hope that they can
Oh,
take that home with them.
this sounds wonderful.
I'm thinking it will be. I like
Yes.
a friend of mine said to me, create the thing that you need. And I just kind of thought, I was like, I'd love to go be in the woods with my friends and be silly and eat good food and drink good wine and just have a great time together. And so I
Okay.
created a retreat around that.
Yeah. Now, this retreat is not a therapy retreat, right?
No, not a therapy retreat. It's just a retreat that just a kind of like a wellness, personal enrichment retreat.
Okay. Okay. Yes. This sounds fun. So, do you found a retreat facility or y'all going to be at the hotel? What's going to look like?
We're gonna do it at an Airbnb, and it's in like the forest of North Idaho. And it's just gorgeous out there and just so like just private, and there's lakes around, so people will have opportunity to go to the lake and just be by the water, which I really wanted as well.
Hmm. Now, tell us how you marketed this retreat.
Mostly via social media
Okay.
and email.
Are you
Um,
serious?
yep, just social media and email, and just like I put together an email list and I've just started blasting that. I've been posting on different groups that I'm a part of, like on Facebook, just like local groups, groups in Seattle, telling friends about it, telling other clinicians, and then just people have reached out and said that they wanted to join, and I'm just shocked.
Yeah. Look at that. This is just the first one.
This is just the first one. So this will be like my trial run. And then I started a DBA. So I'm going to move things into like just a branch outside of my therapy practice called Jacqui Nelson Wellness.
Yeah.
And I'll post everything there and begin that process of, being able to do all that there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the business part, right? I was on the phone with attorneys today and all kinds of, accountants today. Like, you got to do that stuff,
You do.
right? Like, you need to have, like, if something comes up, you need to have that attorney referral, that accountant referral. You need to have an accountant like on hand, right? Someone you
Right.
work with regularly, as well as an attorney if you need it. There's just so many aspects to running a successful business. And you're kind of outlining so many of those things that you got to be doing, right?
Uh,
One, you got to take care of yourself. And then two, you got to know your story,
right. You
right?
do.
Three, charge what you need,
Yeah, that
right?
was a learning curve as well. I should have charged more for it, but because it's my first one, they're just things you don't know, like things you don't think about. And now I have thought about those things as I've kind of pieced it together, but it's going to be really fun. And I'm just really looking forward to like getting the experience of doing it and then going from there. And I'll tailor some things a little differently next time, but I'm learning a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, that's really good. Sometimes people look at me and they're like, oh, I should charge less because it's my first one. No, who said that?
I know it's this weird idea, right? That like, okay, well, I don't have the experience, so maybe I shouldn't charge as much, but and I fall into that trap too a lot.
Yeah.
Just I don't know why we just do that. We kind of I don't think we have the confidence, right, to say this is what I'm worth.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's why I flip it. This is what I need.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
That's really
It's different.
helpful.
Right.
It is
It's
different.
different. Because one's about self esteem and the other one's about your economic stability.
Absolutely, which you have to consider the economic stability. Like I'm going to
Yes.
be working my whole weekend
Right.
for this retreat, and so I don't think you think a whole lot about like what's the price of that, even if it's fun.
Even if it's fun, even if you're going to have fun while working.
Right.
Right. But Jackie, you're learning. You're learning. We're all learning. I don't know if I was going to do a retreat, what I would charge. I would try to bring in like, my supports. I
Mhm.
would try to price things out because at the end of the day, you want to make sure you actually make money.
Right. You do. You do. So I built in a facilitation fee. Um, it's low, but it'll be fine. Like
Yeah.
we'll give it a go. Next time it'll be different. But
Yeah.
yeah, you do want to like think about that. Like what am I? what is my time worth for this, all of my labor, and then to like I'm hiring a chef to come and do that work. So I'm excited about that as well.
I want to go.
I know. I've had several men reach out and say like, "Do you have one that you're gonna do for men?" And I'm like, "Well, why don't you do one for men?" Like,
Oh, yes, for sure.
I I
That's excellent.
I think men need that too. And
I think they do, Jackie. I have
I wish
something launching this fall for men.
ooh,
So, yeah. So that gives me an idea. And you know what I do with ideas?
and everything.
I put them to work.
You do so good at that, and it's just very inspiring because, like, when I went into private practice this year, my new intention for the year was, like, I'm just gonna try things out,
Mhm.
and it's been a lot of, like, throwing spaghetti at a wall, and it's been great. Like, some things stick and some things don't.
Yeah. And I'm okay with that.
Me too. Like, actually, it's great.
Yeah. And for me, it's not like a failure, it's a learning opportunity.
It is. It's really you do kinda learn, like, what works and what doesn't, but, like, I've been trying groups out, I tried the retreat out, I'm gonna try to give intensives a go at some point here, um, which I've never done one of those, but I would like to try it at some point. So I'm just
Well,
trying
the
things
re-
out.
well, Jackie, the retreat is an intensive.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I
Yeah.
hadn't really thought about it like that.
Yeah, it's absolutely an intensive. It's immersive.
It is
Uh,
immersive.
yeah, absolutely. Yes. You're now preparing to do intensive slash retreats.
Well, I love that reframe. Thank you for that.
I don't know how I come up with this stuff.
Well,
My
you've been
brain
doing it
is
for a long time.
wired. Yes, this is true. I just feel like sometimes my brain is just wired, and sometimes I'm like, what did I just say?
I love people who have the creativity to just try things out and just to, like, come up with an idea and roll with it. Like, I love the, like, "What would DJ do?" I was laughing so hard. I'm like, "That is brilliant."
Ah, and folks, if you don't know what that is, if you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, I have just been doing this new little, I don't even know what the hell to call it. It's what would DJ do? And I have another little mini sode coming out on Friday. And I just love it. People are sending me emails. So
That's so great. Like, I just know I appreciate clinicians who, like, put their feet ahead of them and
yeah,
just do the work and try something out. Like, that is inspiring, and I think more of us need to see that, like, "Oh, if they can do it, I can do that."
right. Right. 3 years ago, I almost died. So I ain't messing around.
No, life is too short.
Exactly, it's too short. I would have never thought that I would have been on, like, death's door, but I was, and I came back, and I'm, like, here to stay for a little while longer, so why not?
Well, and I think, that purpose is important. Like, you're offering something really helpful to our therapist community. Like, you have a large following. Like, people like and need what you're putting out. So I really appreciate it a lot.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I love it, I love it, the community, the people, they're fabulous, even though there may be some that may, we might bump up against, that's okay. They're just not in the same place I'm in, and that's okay, and I'm
Well,
fine with
that's
it.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
that is okay. Like, everybody's on their path, and
sure.
it
And
doesn't mean that, like, we all have to be friends either.
absolutely not. And sometimes I'm like, "Go start your own group."
Exactly. That's the mind-boggling thing to me is when people, like, when clinicians in particular, get really twisted up about what somebody else is doing, and I'm like, "Why do you care so much? Like, why don't you go do the thing that you think is important and let somebody else do the thing they think is important, and we don't
Yeah.
need to debate about it or complain about it."
Because I learned in recovery, I stay on my own side of the street, and if you coming over here, you gonna get ready 'cause I'm gonna have something for you. I'm gonna tell you what it is, right? Imma be respectful, but Imma tell you what it is, and if people come on my side of the street, try to tell me how to run my show, I'm gonna tell them something, you
Go run
know?
your own show.
Go run your own show.
Yeah. Why don't you be brave enough to go start something of your own and do it exactly the way you wanna do it?
Exactly the way you wanna do it. I love that for you. Yes, absolutely. But I try to protect the space, and
Sure.
protect the people. And people tell me, DJ, I really appreciate how you stepped up to this, or you said this, or you created this boundary around that. And I will keep doing that as long as I'm breathing.
I mean, we have to, right? Like, it's your baby. And so,
It
like,
is.
whatever your baby is, whether it's your therapy practice or your groups or your workshops or speaking events, or whatever it is, like, it's your job to protect it because that's the thing you created and it was born out of you.
Right. And let me tell y'all folks, if it's going sideways and you ain't heard nothing from me, I'm laid out somewhere.
You're like, I am MIA.
It's something happened.
Mhm.
But
Right.
I have some trusted people by my side who are walking alongside of me to help protect that space. And I so appreciate them. I ain't never had no problem with my moderators, and I just love them.
That's helpful.
And, and they love the space. And it's just like this community is beautiful. And so I'm just grateful for the opportunity to come on here and have you and all the other people who are willing to come on the show. And Jackie, just the other day I said, "Hey, I got some openings for the show. You can sign up here." Jackie, the emails, I can't get the emails out the list. I just can't.
Oh,
There's so many of them. It was over 30 in less than 24 hours.
that's amazing. I mean, that's amazing.
It's like, what did I just do?
Well, I think what you're doing is providing space to just talk
I
about what they
know.
do, and I think what's hard in our world is, like, private practice can be kind of isolating, and we don't always get
Yeah.
to talk about what we get to do,
Yeah.
and, like, sometimes I go home and, or I'm out with a friend, and I'm like, "I'm just dying to talk about myself for a minute. Can I
Yeah.
just take up some space?" Because I listen
Yes.
all day long, and so I imagine there's a piece of that where people just want the space to be known and to be seen and
Mhm.
just for the broader therapy community to know that, like, "Hey, I'm here."
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm like some days I feel like just exhausted by it, but I still love it, right? And I think that's why we get up and do this work, Jackie. We're helping the people, we're helping them grow and live. And what you're doing over there in Spokane and throughout Washington, helping these clients heal from their religious traumas and go through deconstruction and identity, like reclamation, all of the things, all the beautiful things. I'm so excited for you and all of the things that you have coming up next.
Thank you. Like, it really couldn't have happened without, all the voices that have been kind of swirling around in my phone when I'm listening to my podcast, or, like, all of that matters, and so it really does help, and it helped me get to where I am right now, and I'm just gonna keep going and see where it leads me, and again, like, throw spaghetti at a wall and see what sticks, and I'm gonna find my way. Like, I'm also, like, in the process of doing my own identity work as I'm moving along, and so
Yeah.
it's been really fun to discover some of my own gifts again, like the public speaking. Like, I love it. I love it.
That's so fun. Well, Jackie, I want the people to know where to find you. Can you share your socials, website?
Sure. So you can find me at uh, liminal-psychotherapy.com. And you can find me on Instagram at liminal psychotherapy as well and see just what I'm posting there. Um, and shoot me a DM if you are interested in any of the things that I'm doing right now, or you can go into my website and email me if you're interested in therapy services or anything else.
Ah, beautiful. Jackie, thank you so much for coming on the show. I so appreciate you and the work that you're doing in the community. And anytime you want to come back, just let me know.
Okay. Will do. Thank you so much, DJ.
Yeah, thank you. Everybody, I've been DJ Burr, and this is the Private Pay Practitioners Premium Podcast. Make sure you come back next time because I'm going to have another fabulous guest.
Some practices need more than a strategy call. They need a full day. The full day intensive is a 5 to 6 hours on Zoom covering your niche, messaging, marketing, rates, referrals, and a complete 90-day plan. You submit through intake before we meet. I come in early knowing where to focus. You leave with a full strategy built specifically for your practice. $2,500 at privatepaypractitioners.com.